Preston, and welcome to my 2019 Jaguar XE SV Project 8. It's hard to believe that I'm even saying those words, but here we are. While I'm getting the car sort of up to temperature and up to its optimal, running condition, letting those fluids run through, etc., I want to talk a little bit about the history of this special vehicle. Around 2013, 2014, and Jaguar Land Rover decided to set up what is now known as the Special Vehicle Operation Division, or SVO. Facility was established in Warwickshire, UK, and basically the division stands for the most extreme and bespoke offerings the Jaguar Land Rover can offer to its customers. Extreme performance, unlimited options as far as customizability, true engineering marvels of the brand, the most extreme and most capable performance offerings that the company could offer. That's what SVO basically stands for in a nutshell. The division's first vehicle was produced as a 2015 model year, and that was the Jaguar Project 7, which is the sort of the drop top, almost Barchetta-like Jaguar that was loosely based on the F-Type R, their supercharged V8, much like this Project 8. I'll get into some of the details about this vehicle shortly. But an absolutely exceptional vehicle from SVO. I believe there are only 250 of the Project 7s made worldwide. Next vehicle produced by SVO was the Land Rover Range Rover Sport. That vehicle came out as a 2017 initially, the pre-facelift, if you will. I owned the 2021, which is the sort of the facelift, more technologically improved and advanced version of that vehicle, a little bit quieter. Another outstanding product from Land Rover. And then came the Jaguar Project 8, aka XE SV, which was announced in the 2019 model year. So it's a very interesting vehicle, the Project 8. It's sort of elusive in the media and a lot of literature that when you try to find information about this vehicle. Being an enthusiast myself and now having owned one of these, it's hard to find a lot of information on the Project 8. It's actually very interesting. Reminds me a little bit about the Murcielago SV and sort of the elusiveness that surrounds that vehicle. I'll talk about why in a second. So the Jaguar Project 8 was strictly limited to a run of 300 units. Multiple sources and things that I've read up on say that they never reached the 300 run threshold. There's apparently about 220-ish in the entire world. Where I'm located in the United States, there's roughly around 30, maybe 32, 33 examples. That's the estimates. It's hard to find real ownership information or information at all in general how many were delivered to the United States. But very, very few vehicles. It's a very rare vehicle, especially in the States. All are produced in left-hand drive and were built handmade at the Warwickshire SVO's facility in the UK that I just talked about. So what is the Project 8 XE SV? Well, the long and short of it is it's essentially a road-going track weapon produced by Jaguar SVO. What exactly in the market was Jaguar trying to target when it produced this vehicle? I've read some articles by Car and Driver, Motortrend, etc. A lot of them peg this as an M3 type of rival. I disagree, actually. This is a much more extreme vehicle when you look at the specs on paper. 600 horsepower, supercharged V8. That's actually underrated, and I'll talk about that, the power numbers and so on in a second, mainly because it's the hand-built motor and it's a little bit variable. This is much more akin in the way that it drives and the performance that it offers to something like a Porsche GT3 or Porsche GT3 911 GT3 RS, despite the fact that it has 4 doors. Little known fact about the Project 8 as well. Apparently, Jaguar SVO used a Nissan GTR as the benchmark when they were developing the Project 8. So they took the Nissan GTR and they said, it has to meet these X, Y, and Z performance criteria and beat them in every way. It had to surpass the GTR in handling and performance numbers, in straight line acceleration, Nürburgring time, etc., you name it. So it's very interesting, I think, and it's a testament to the performance that this vehicle offers when you can improve on what I consider almost a perfect product, the Nissan GTR, when it was announced, and continues to live on as one of the all-time great super sports cars. So the Jaguar Project 8 shares that 5-liter V8 supercharged unit that we see across a lot of the lineup. However, a lot of the components and structural choices and engineering choices that were made in this project are bespoke to this vehicle. Just go ahead and start off with the base vehicle, which is the Jaguar XE, which is sort of the baby Jaguar, sort of in the same size department as a BMW 3 Series. What does this car share with the donor or the base XE? Almost nothing is the answer. The front door skins and a portion of the roof are the only components that are shared with the standard XE, and that's from the press release. I'll put a link in the description of the Project 8 press release that the Jaguar sent out to prospective customers back in 2017 when this vehicle was announced for production. Everything else that you see on the Project 8 engineering performance-wise is all bespoke. It's all handmade, double wishbone suspension up front, linked suspension in the rear. The chassis setup just screams motorsport. It's extreme. You can see the seating position that I'm in. It feels like a DTM, almost touring-like car for the road when you drive it. You sit really low. You have these bucket seats that really grab you nicely and are very kind of performance-inspired. It has a bespoke titanium exhaust that is unique to Project 8. It's not offered on any other vehicle in the Jaguar Land Rover lineup now or in the future. Adjustable suspension with drive modes, so very similar and recognizable to a lot of those that know Jaguar Land Rover. You have your comfort mode, your eco mode, dynamic, and there is a unique track mode in the Project 8 that really allows you to turn everything off. It's not just a kind of a gimmick where it leaves some of the nannies on. It's truly off when you want it off. And it's actually a pretty easy car to drive, even with traction control off, stability control off, etc. Particularly due to the fact of this intelligent all-wheel drive system that it has. And that grab this Project 8 by the scruff of the neck and really kind of exploit it for what it is. Even if you're not somebody like me who's not a professional race car driver, you can really enjoy and get a lot of the performance out of this Project 8. I've had this car for about 2 months now. First impressions sort of getting in it, you can probably visualize yourself and kind of hear, hopefully the audio is coming through okay, but the car is pretty bumpy. It's compliant enough when you want to do freeway runs and commuting and so on. It actually is pretty livable for the type of car that it is and the performance that it offers, but it is quite bumpy. It's pretty harsh suspension. You have to be stiff to be able to offer the performance that is that's on tap for you at any given time. Some of the things that set it apart from the XE donor car, you can see some of those wide body kind of fairings on the side where the wheel arches. That's all bespoke. Fender panels, rocker panels, etc., all made with carbon fiber, very lightweight material. Fixed rear wing, which is adjustable. It has 2 separate positions where you get a sort of a toolkit and an Allen wrench to set it into 2 different modes, a more aggressive track mode and a touring mode. Additionally, another little known fact about this car, and Harry Metcalf had talked about this in one of his videos. He was actually one of the big inspirations for me in wanting to acquire one of these and own one myself. Was there is a sort of a Nürburgring track chassis setup that you can get done specifically to this vehicle. So despite the extreme aero and everything kind of going on as it's set up and delivered to you from the factory, that splitter that I showed on the front actually can come out to a further position, can set even a little bit lower, give you some of the more aggressive attack angles on that spoiler back there. And supposedly, according to Harry, it really makes all the world of a difference when you're talking about tracking if you're really into some serious performance events. So I just switched the car from comfort mode into dynamic mode. Let's go ahead and shift it to manual here. Speaking of the transmission, this is an 8-speed CF gearbox, quick shift gearbox. The ratios are tuned uniquely to this Project 8. They're not shared, again, with SVR or any of the other vehicles in Jaguar's lineup. It is unique to this chassis. It feels, and I've talked about this in a lot of the other JLR products and other vehicles that I've owned that have had this CF transmission. It is as smooth as butter. It's as close as you're going to get to a Porsche PDK or a dual clutch unit. There's a lot of benefits up and above what you would find in something like a PDK, especially in kind of low-speed traffic and daily conditions, especially if you kind of live in places where I am, where a lot of your roads are crowded and you're just kind of going bumper to bumper, whether you're going to get a coffee or whatever in the car, etc. It's a lot smoother and it's much more livable to drive than the dual clutch. It's kind of janky at low speeds. Supercharged V8, 600 horsepower, conservatively rated. I talked about in some of my past GLR videos and Defender and SVR and things like that, that when Mr. Metcalf put his project in the dyno, it was conservatively making about 630, so that 600, or the official number is actually 592 horsepower number, is actually a bit conservative. Let's go ahead and listen to that titanium exhaust. It's just unbelievable. Doesn't matter how many times you do it, your heart races every single time. I mean, you can feel, I think hopefully through the video you can't feel, but hopefully you can, it sort of comes through how fast those shifts are. What I mean that you really don't need a dual clutch in this, I'm telling you guys. I mean, it is absolutely on the money with the shifting. You feel very connected to the experience, despite the fact that it's just a regular old torque converter automatic. I mean, the quick shift ZF, these engineers really know what they're doing in dialing this thing in. It's unbelievable, and I think it really matches the chassis setup nicely. Unfortunately, I have a car in front of me, but just the way that it handles, it's hard to transcribe it through the video, but it's just on rails. So I want to talk a little bit about the value of this vehicle, and I think where it stands in the marketplace right now, and why I think it is an absolute, it's just the pinnacle of the enthusiast choice. I think it just does everything well. This car, when it was new, when it was launched, was pretty steep and I think hard to swallow for a lot of people. And my hunch is that's why I don't think that they ended up making the full 300 unit run that they were planning. This car started around $190,000 when it was first announced, and I think it was a little bit misunderstood, again, as I talked about earlier, as to where it stood in the marketplace and the type of vehicles that it was aimed and competing against. You know, $190,000 for a purported M3 competitor is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. But I think when you sort of rein it in and you understand what this vehicle is actually about, that it is an extreme track weapon that was truly produced to compete with some of the greats. This, again, I don't think I mentioned it yet, this is the four-door record holder for the Nürburgring. This is a serious performance car. It's faster than a 997.2 GT3 GT3RS around the Nürburgring, 991.1 GT3RS. It is aimed and sits in that type of category of vehicle. This would absolutely run circles around an M3, even the the 2024 G80 that's out right now. And I think it would also driver dependent obviously, but I think it would spank a CSL as well too, especially with the weight penalty in the CSL. I just don't think that we're going to be getting vehicles like this anymore. Supercharged V8, 600 horsepower, like I said. There's no there were murmurs about a Project 9. If the same's going to be produced, it'll be probably at least hybrid or electrified. Jaguar has made the decision, I think it was by 2025 or 2026, that their whole lineup was going to be electrified. Cars like this are unfortunately on their way out, which is sad in a lot of ways for enthusiasts, people like you and me that enjoy performance-oriented driving and spirited driving. The way that this car is set up, just like it says on paper, this is not just a dressed up Jaguar XE. It's far from it. It's closer to anything, if not very similar to the GT3, GT3RSs that I've been in and around. It is an unbelievable, unique offering that I think is just an extraordinary value proposition for where they sit right now. I don't really want to talk about what I paid for this vehicle and so on, but I paid significantly under the MSRP of $190,000 for this vehicle. I think that they're going to appreciate significantly, considering the rareness. I think they're underappreciated for the performance that they offer and the excitement that they offer. I encourage you, if you have the opportunity and the means, to absolutely scoop this one up if you're looking at something like a GT3, GT3 RS, I'm telling you, consider one of these first. So you can save some money and have something unique, exciting, and different. Feel everything. Again, this steering is probably a bit electrically assisted, but who cares? It is very communicative. You can feel all the nooks and crannies. I know exactly where this car is going to be when I'm placing it on the road and around corners and every undulation in the road. You feel like you're bolted into the chassis yourself. It is incredible. I haven't driven something like a McLaren F1 and so on. A lot of people describe how in a McLaren F1 how you really feel one with the road, one with the car, and I really do get that feeling with the Project 8. It's a very confidence-inspiring vehicle, despite the brute performance that it offers the driver. I'll show you. I'm going to come up to a couple corners here. The problem is that this car is so fast. It's by the time you get past one line of traffic, you're right up on the butt end of another vehicle. So you got to try to exploit the performance while you can, while the road's clear. Here's that quick shift. Down to fourth. Just hugs the corner. Here we are, Subaru in front of me. Yeah, that's all I can do unless I want to end up in the jailhouse. But it's very hard to show you. I mean, you're never going to get this thing really at 10/10 on a public road. You do get you can extract the enjoyment out of it. But again, if you want to see what this thing can do, obviously take it to a circuit and don't act like a fool on public roads. So what are my plans with this Project 8? Truly, this is not only a driver's car for me, but this is an investment car. This thing is going absolutely nowhere anytime soon. With the caveat being only if I received an absolutely just stupid offer for the car. I mean, and by stupid, I mean the number would have to start with a 2 for me to even consider selling it. And that's truly how special that I believe that this car is. This is, I think, a $200,000 car all day long. I think when you're looking at the marketplace and looking at some of the competitors, like I talked about, 992 GT3 RS, I mean, forget about it. If you're lucky enough to get an allocation, yes, you're spending the $300,000, but secondary market, forget it, you're spending $600,000 plus for a 992 GT3 RS. And I'm sort of the opinion that the heyday for those cars were really 997.2 was really the purest GT car, but I don't want to go off on a tangent with a Porsche discussion. But in the land where everything is getting bigger and bigger, less nimble, too technologically advanced, more expensive, this is the absolute performance driver's choice. It really is. I would take this all day over a new GT3. And I did. It is incredible and stupidly underappreciated. Carbon ceramic rotors, just stomp on them. Like I said in conclusion with this car, as I'm bouncing around, let me put it back to comfort mode if you can hear me better. This is absolutely a long-term vehicle for me. Like I said, I would not consider parting with it unless I got an absolutely absurd offer for the vehicle. I just don't know what I could replace this with, especially in the price point. Like I said, I'm not paying $600,000 for a GT3 RS that somebody else used and flipped. It's just not going to happen. I'm trying to even think of something else that's comparable. I mean, an E63, that's just a bulbous, in my opinion, ugly vehicle now. M3 CS, also too big, too expensive, too ugly. I don't know. I think that, you know, obviously this is a opinion, but I think that we are witnessing in real time the downfall of the performance vehicle, especially, you know, kind of performance-oriented super sedans. I just don't know what else really can offer you the same performance and sort of drivability that this car has. Obviously, 4 seats in the back, throw kids in the back. It's all-wheel drive, very intelligent system. You could put winter tires on this and drive in the snow should you wish. I'm planning on driving in the winter in dry conditions. I'm not going to drive it in the salt, but it's got plenty of room in the back for luggage. To get on a road trip, it's comfortable enough in comfort mode. It's unbelievably extreme when it's in its track and dynamic modes. It is the definition of dual personality, this car, which is one of the things I love about it so much, is that you can take this thing out to eat in comfort, and should you wish, you can absolutely tear up a circuit or a back road with it. And it just does both, and is equally happy to do both of those things. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the likes and dislikes of the Project 8. Some of the dislikes, well, really, the only dislike that I can really think of from the outset is I haven't had any real problems with this Project 8, but I guess just servicing, and I guess this is sort of, whether it's a problem or not, is sort of unique to the respective owner, but I'm only going to get this serviced at a Jaguar main dealer. But I guess it's just sort of the technician's familiarity with Project 8. I did get it taken and had them give it a once owner and once over, and just give it some, you know, some basic service and had it detailed, touched up, etc. After I took delivery of it, and you know, the lead mechanic there told me he's never worked with one. So if that's a worry for you, this car is still under warranty, which is awesome. It wasn't registered until 2021, believe it or not, and so I have a pretty long balance of warranty left on it, so that's good peace of mind there. But I guess for some, they might be worried about servicing and long-term reliability issues. I haven't heard anything real troublesome about the Project 8 in terms of reliability. This 5-liter supercharged V8, I've had it in a lot of JLR products that I've owned, and they've been nothing but pretty much bulletproof. One little thing after I took delivery of this, a couple weeks ago, I had to take it into the dealer. The check engine light came on. It was an O2 sensor. That was a recall that was across the whole JLR line. It was basically, the mechanic told me it was just a piece of crap product that was in all the, it was in standard XE and even in some of the SVR products and so on. And they just said that was a manufacturer's remedy, so that was done. But there's nothing mechanically troublesome or worrying about owning these long term, in my opinion. My experience, having owned about 10 JLR products now, some of the newer products, I absolutely love it. It is an exceptionally fun car to drive. It gets a lot of attention. I love sharing the car with people that both know and don't know. I've had a lot of people say, you know, what is that thing? I took it to the Woodward Dream Cruise and had people ask me if it was a Hellcat. But for the people that do know, it was just so awesome the other day meeting some younger kids. They just said it absolutely made their day seeing this car. It was featured in the coolest cars of the 2023 Woodward Dream Cruise by Car and Driver. I'll put a sort of a screenshot of that up now so you can see that. So, but obviously that's taken me to the positives with this car, and the answer is basically everything. I mean, it is just an absolute ballistic missile on wheels. The dual personality, like I said, is fantastic. I love the uniqueness. I love that it's not, and it kind of hurts me to say this even as a Porsche guy, but it's not just another 911. I think the people that own this car are true enthusiasts and passionate about cars. It's not just a statement piece that says, look at me. I think that, so I love kind of even though there's not really a tight-knit ownership community where I've met other owners, I know that people that get this car are very serious car people, and I love that about it. I love that the idea that you kind of have to know what it is, but those that are not in the know are intrigued. And I think it's just a unique product, and for what it offers, like I said, I think it's unparalleled compared to pretty much everything else in the marketplace currently. I got into that discussion a little bit earlier. There's things like M5 CS might maybe come close. Quite a bit heavier of a vehicle. Yeah, offhand, I can't really think of another four-door kind of saloon car that offers you the performance characteristics and qualities that of a Porsche GT car, and that's really, for me, what this car represents. So it's coming up with the channel too. I just ordered a 2024 Raptor R, which is a confirmed allocation, so I will be getting that hopefully soon. As of the time of filming this video, the UAW strikes are going on, so I have no clue when that car is going to be going into production, let alone when I'll be taking delivery of it, but hopefully soon. So Project 8 and a Raptor R doesn't sound like too bad of a combo, so I'm really excited and blessed too for all these opportunities I have. So thanks a lot for tuning into the PKF. Again, I'm your host, Preston. I hope you enjoyed this video on the Project 8. See you on the next one. Thanks a lot.